Hi, Paul Higgins here. What we're going to look at in this tutorial is a feature of IMS called multi-map support. What this feature does, it allows you to select multiple maps for each chart creation, and it adds the map name and zoom levels to the chart name. So before this feature existed, let's take a look at what it would be like. Going to go to SAS to chart here. You'd follow these instructions, and it says on SAS Planet display the area you want to create a chart. So here's SAS Planet. I would zoom into some place that I want to create a chart. Here's our good old Marina Hemingway, and I'm going to create a chart of the Marina Hemingway. And I want to use this map, which happens to be the Google Satellite Google Maps. So I'm going to come back to SAS to chart, and then it says put in the name and location. So this is the directory we'll be putting it in. So after the backslash, I would add Marina Hemingway. And then I would go ahead and create the chart. So it would create a chart of Marina Hemingway using the satellite Google Maps. Now suppose I wanted to then create another chart of the same area, but I want to use a different map. So I go back to SAS Planet here, and I'll change the map to a marine map, the Navionics Marine Charts. There's what it looks like. I would then go back to SAS to chart here, and it says fill in the name again. So I would put in the name. Now if I put in the same name, Marina Hemingway, the previous chart created a chart called Marina Hemingway.Mbtiles. So we don't want to do that again because it would overlay the first one. So we have to give this a different name. Maybe say Navionics, just to distinguish between the two. And then I would go ahead and create chart. So that would create two charts, one with the satellite Google Maps and one with the Navionics map. So that's what it was like before we had this feature. Okay, how does this multi-map feature work? Well, if I go to SAS Planet here, here's SAS Planet, and right now the map is the Google Satellite Map, and you notice right after it has a letter here. This happens to be the hotkey that if you send this hotkey to SAS Planet, it will switch to this map. So for instance, if I go to the Navionics Marine map, you notice it has a hotkey of N. So first I'll just switch to that Navionics chart, or map rather. And if I wanted to get back to the Google Maps, I would simply on my keyboard press the letter G, and it automatically goes back to the Google Satellite Maps. So SAS to chart is going to take advantage of this feature by sending various hotkeys to SAS Planet. Okay, before we can use this multi-map feature, we have to create something called an HLG. This describes the area that we want to create the chart, and it's created by SAS Planet. So first off, we've got to create a directory to put it. So come back to our E drive here, and I'm just going to create a new directory. Where's new? New folder, and we'll call it Marina Hemingway. And then inside that, we're going to create a subdirectory, and it's going to be called HLGs. And that's where we're going to create the HLGs, or store the HLGs. Now we got to create it. So we got to go to SAS planet here. And it's positioned right on Marina Hemingway. And what we'll do is create a HLG for it. So go to Operations here, Selection Manager, and we'll create a polygon selection, and we'll create a polygon right around the marina. So this describes the whole area that we want to create a chart from. So we have to finalize it. We have to go to this little window, click the Apply button, and it brings up the Selection Manager, and we're going to store the HLG. So where are we going to store it? We're going to store it in the Marina Hemingway HLGs, which we just created, and we'll call it Marina Hemingway. And we'll save it. Okay, so now we've got the HLG. We can use it to create the multi-map. Cancel this. Okay, we've got our HLG that describes the area we want to create the charts. So now let's try the multi-map support. So go back to SAS to chart here. We go to the SAS planet options, and we're going to make sure we got this here multi-map support click. So we check it. Then we go back to the main tab here. We're going to store the charts in this directory, and we're going to come up here and select the HLG that we just created. So there's our Marina Hemingway, there's our HLGs directory, and we select that HLG. And now SAS to chart will come up and ask you what zoom levels and what maps you want to use for Marina Hemingway. And it's going to be zoom level 17. It's going to be very detailed. And you select the maps too. So we're going to select the Navionics marine charts and the satellite Google Maps. Then we press OK. Now what SAS to chart will do, it'll bring up a copy of SAS Planet for every HLG map combination. So we only got one HLG, but we got two maps. So it's going to bring up two copies of SAS Planet. So we'll just watch it here and see what happens. There's one of them. There's the other one. They're both on top of one another. That's why you don't see both of them. And it also, in SAS to chart, it brought up a progress window to tell you what's going on in each of them. So right now one of them is downloading. Now they're both downloading. So one of them is for the Navionics marine charts. The other one is for the satellite Google Maps. Well, let's just see what happens. It's not going to take very long. Now they're exporting. That's going to actually create the chart. First one exports, then the other is exporting. Okay, it finished, so now it's going to close all the SAS planets. It tells you it created two charts. They put them in this directory. Let's go take a look, see what it looks like. There's our chart testing. There's our two charts. Marina Hemingway, one of them is for the Navionics, it's at zoom level 17. The other one is for the satellite Google Map, also at 17. And that's all there is to creating the, or trying out the multi-map support. Okay, now that we've created the charts, let's see what they look like on OpenCPN. We'll go to OpenCPN here. And we're going to do a scan for new charts. And you notice we have our directory that we have our charts in is right here. So we do a scan. And there they are. Here's the first one, is the Navionics marine chart. So there's what it looks like. It has a lot of detail. And the other one is the satellite Google Maps. And again, we've got lots of detail. So that's all there is to displaying on OpenCPN. Okay, we've seen what multi-map support is. It's a feature that allows you to select multiple maps for each chart creation, and it adds the map name and zoom levels to the chart name. Thank you for watching.